they're safe. They don't need to coast, but good for them. So here's the bit where, for me, I did have my money on Cashback. I don't know about you. I haven't looked at your prediction just yet, but I did make sure to fill mine in earlier. Where are you putting yours?
I'm pretty sure I voted for Cashback, to be honest. But then again, you got to remember that this is like today is like a general rehearsal. Yeah. To be honest, for all the top 4 teams, it's like a general rehearsal for the playoffs. You want to head in those playoffs with the best possible feeling, I would assume, where you would take the last win and you're like, okay, we're ready to rock and roll into those playoffs. However, they could also be on the part of, we don't really care that much and we don't want to reveal any of our strategies. Thanks too much, but that's because that's usually players like, you know, for Mafia, YOLO and Kono, light tank players, you know, RHM and EBR player, or for Cashback, Liberty and Squeezy, EBR and RHM players there. Those people stand out usually a bit more because of the role that they're playing within the team as well. You know, those lights are super, super important. But every team needs those good old-fashioned, reliable players that perform on their tanks just as well. With just light players, you're not going very far.
What lineout are you expecting from the teams on this map?
Kind of depends. Westfield is a high variety kind of map nowadays. You see everything on it. You could see Fush Bs, we could see 50Bs, CSs, the 50Ms, K91s, even Bliskavitz's BZs. Everything is possible. You can see Mafia is going for that bit slower style. Yeah. EBR, RHM, K91, E50, double CS63, and a BZ75.
Yeah, so I'm seeing Cashback definitely going for more, hoping for a clash. Mafia, they are changing up a little bit, maybe trying to keep for the range and long distance. I'm interested to see how that strategy is going to go, because I don't think I've seen a lineup like that yet on Westfield.
I mean, they have to play more control, especially because Cashback is looking for the direct fight with the triple BZ, the triple Bliska, and the Udas, of course, the Inspire tank to help those BZs lackluster DPM. But Mafia does have a few good things for them. K91 gets a mini strike, is able to reset the cap, for example, when it comes down to it, and they get quick and early information. So the question is, what does Cashback do? Because they're going to take the mid strike, but if the K91 gets to reset with the EBR, the RHM, it could be a slow game of chip damage.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see if Cashback just ignores the EBR and doesn't even worry about it, or if the EBR is going to try and get a sneak, but the Bliskavitz probably trying to stop him from getting into a key position. We can see the cap pressure on there, but like you mentioned, that Artie should be able to help Decap that easy enough without any issues.
I mean, they're split up well on the cap at least, so only one will be hit by the strike, normally speaking. It's Aka. The K91 has not gotten a mini strike just yet, so it will be a BZ75 that is forced by the looks of things to block Profus. He was the standout player we talked about. Is forced in. There is a mini strike there coming out, but this is going to be a BZ75 down and out very, very early for Mafia, who want to play that control battle, but losing a tank this early may spiral out of control altogether. Twilight picks it up. That's Profus out.
Yeah, it's a bit hard as well to lose one of those kind of, like you said earlier, the more reliable tanks and more reliable players. So now you're kind of having to rely on the more maverick and hoping the stars really shine by pulling out key positions and plays. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking to expect to see if the K91's going to apply any more pressure or move up to a more aggressive spot to Decap, but I think he's remaining spotted for now without too much worry.
Mafia needs to find a reset here. They have a mini strike on Conrad and on Orchek, who I think is blind striking actually altogether. He misses, but it's Conrad that does hit, takes a shot of damage in return. That will result into him getting another strike. He's going in now, going over, trying to block this cap again. It's 5,000 lead for Mafia. Conrad in that CS63, not gonna live too much longer either. Orchek spotted out in the back as well, and the trades so far for Mafia are a disaster as they lose another tank, and everywhere else on the map, it doesn't seem to be going that much better for them.
Yeah, I'm noticing Cashback are just playing this very controlled, very reserved, just waiting for the Mafia to make a mistake or even just aggressive decap. Just basically letting them come to them. It looks like they're going to be able to mop up relatively easy now, unless that K91 performs a miracle. But yeah, I think this is pretty much a D for Cashback right now.
Yeah, Cashback putting the triple cap. The strike only hits one. they're forced to use Profuse because they're kind of hoping that either Conrad or Czech gets a shot early in the game. Reason why is if the CS is able to generate a mini strike, they're not forced to put Profuse in, and he doesn't die. But neither Conrad, I think, or Czech had a mini strike in the beginning, so you're forced to put that BZ onto the cap. He blocks, he dies, and the story repeats itself.
Yeah, well played by Cashback there. I think Mafia did try and do what they could, but so here we've got ourselves the player statistics. Well, let's have a look at Cashback first, of course. Dominant display, not losing a single vehicle. We've got the Barbarian here. Pretty solid stats going on. Anybody that stood out for you?
No, it's just a good spread across the team. This wasn't really like a... And nobody really had to carry for them, you know? Like nobody really had to do too much. It was pretty straightforward after killing the BZ. Mini strikes, but not even that. He's actually going with the rest of the team. Good plane coming out from either side. 5 tanks spotted from Mafia, 5 tanks spotted from Cashback as well. So both teams have pretty good info on the initial opening altogether.
Yeah, and I was told by Phil to make extra special attention to the fact if they manage to get those planes successfully done at the beginning, it allows them to throw the plane out shortly after as well on cooldown. We can see both of them manage to pull that off. Yeah, looks like objective play here. Mouse definitely going to try and play for that arty strike, with the Bliskovitzes maybe waiting for it. Sure how that's going to work.
I mean, there is a big strike already generated on Twilight, and when he puts it, he'll get a mini strike out of it as well. So we've got to take that into account. I see Cashback coming back over. Liberty does get spotted out. He does find a reset though, so that takes it down a little bit lower. He does bleed a lot of HP in return for that 2 shots taken, but it does buy again time for his team to start approaching. Fudge Biavaka leading the charge, Squeezy taking the shot, Little coming back in as well, and now we can see a setup Mafia though into the repush from Cashback, which will arrive before the rest of the team from Mafia is there, because look at the Echo 4 square, you can still see that Forge B coming in off Conrad, but the fight will just reset. The BZ of Profuse pull him back towards B1, and now they might actually want to go for this Mouse or Barbarian, but that's still a Mouse nonetheless.
Yeah. That's a lot of hit points to chew through, but it looks like they are making a good work of it. It'd be interesting to see if Cashback does push through the cap with the risk of getting farmed. Yep, here it comes. So they've realized the Mouse is going to get chewed up, so they'll take the advantage and trade the Bliskovica for it with the Mouse. And now it looks like Mafia are also going to take advantage of that counter push.
Yeah, Mafia decided to, sorry for that, quickly get into the fight after the Mouse took all the damage. And they actually probably made a mistake focusing on the Mouse, because it gave Cashback an opportunity to peek over, but they already did so much damage initially though that now they look to be pretty fine nonetheless.
Yeah, it's relatively close here. I don't know which way this will go, because yeah, the one shots are going to be taken down relatively easy, but the positions are just so spread out. Yeah, I don't know which way this will go, to be honest.
I mean, Brainbreaker facing off against YOLO. YOLO misses the shot there. Gotta be careful, but that K91 has disastrous DPM. The mini shot coming out as well. YOLO bouncing another shot. That's a disaster for Mafia waiting to happen. YOLO's gonna die, actually, fluffing not 1 but 2 shots. And all of a sudden, Cashback turn this around. It could have been a 3-on-3 with a light tank and 2 TDs, which would have been great for Mafia, actually, because the light can play the off angles and the CS63 is a 1-shot. But now, instead it's a 4-on-2 that turns into a 4-on-1. And that K91, you would think that it's always a pen, but it does have a few annoying angles that you can bounce on.
Yeah,
and
K91.
I think that's what happened.
He did a good job of taking the tanks out of the fight there. The Fosh B, of course, having to try and YOLO him down before it was too late. But like you said, at that point in time, it was, yeah, decided, good job, held their nerve, picked the right time to push, counter push, and even just, I think it was very good focus fire as well. I think overall from there was no hesitancy. It looked like a lot of good calls.
I think the Mafia wins that fight if YOLO actually just kills the K91, which he should. Because a 3-on-3 with a CS63 1-shot versus full HP TDs and a light that can just take the strike, and you know, you disengage, you use the planes, you strike the CS63 at some point, it's GG. But then that turned the fight around. Yeah, focusing the Mouse did a lot of damage, but at the same time, when everybody shoots the Mouse, this buys an opportunity, and the opportunity there is very obvious in a way, right? You know, Mouse takes all the damage and you peek over and you kill somebody, and that was Yuzek that they blew up. The Mouse is, yeah, okay, you do 2.5k damage, but it's the perfect engage for Cashback. You know, Mouse took all the damage, we can peek.
Cashback coming in with the BZ, the E100, Cran, 2 MV, 3 MVYs, and an M60. Your favorite vehicle, Daki?
You know, my trauma with the M60 had been resolved, to be honest. The very interesting pick there is the Cran wagon.
Yeah.
That is a pick. I think that's probably the first pick in the 3 seasons we've had of Onslaught. Onslaught Legends series. I've never seen it before. Of course, the modifiers of the mode itself do help the Cran, right?
Yep.
And of course, the ability as well, which is the same ability as, if I'm not mistaken, the 50B has and D57. So lower intra-clip and better handling. So in that regard, you know, maybe not a bad pick for this scenario altogether. If you can play hold on and get shots out, you can see that they're not really giving up their base in the middle fully, realizing that it's not good to do so, and he's already taken a shot, but he can still sit pretty hold down. Gotta remember though, the Cran is only really strong frontally. You see, part of the side turret ain't that great.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be okay there, but not if that Hurricane manages to get around for free. But the M60 should keep him relatively controlled. I7 dropping back probably come to the Mivy, or is he gonna push through the river? I'm not sure. But yeah, very slow, very cautious. I think Mafia learned their lesson in the last game and just want to slow it down, as you mentioned, as they normally do. Spoke too soon. Here they come to try and push onto the M60, take him out as quickly as they can. But yeah, Cashback are ready for it, with it seems.
The M60 is going to face off in a 1v1 against Yuzek. Yuzek might have wanted to go for the Ram, but he got tracked already on the way down, and now he's just going to face off 1v1 against the M60, who pops the Inspire as well. That's a boost to the crew skills. This is not a 1v1 that the IS-7 is supposed to be winning, because there's also strikes from Cashback, of course, which they're now starting to use on Yuzek to lower his HP. Profuse pushes back in, but he's taken a decent amount of damage for this as well. And sure, they will find the M60, but the cost of this hasn't been the best altogether. Profuse now taking a strike. One more shot maybe from Aka. No more shots from Aka. Little coming in, gives one to the IS-7. Liberty coming in as well from behind. Needs to support his friend Little with a shot. They do that, but there comes the rest of Mafia. Conrad, Yolo, and Kono in quick succession coming back into this pit play, while in return, there's another push coming out from Cashback into the base, into the middle of the Mafia side, killing that IS-7 off. But this loss of 3 tanks in the north is going to be hard to recover.
Yeah, so Mafia, I think, maybe reacted a little bit slowly there. We can see how they're going onto the other side of the map. But yeah, that M60 managed to hold off, I think, just long enough there with the IS-7 and waiting for reinforcements. We can see relatively even hit points going on right now. Opposite sides of control on the map. I think that looks like Orzek is going to try and just stay alive as long as he can for the CS and the Hurricane to come across to give some help. This Cran is getting caught out. 100 LT is going to try and bully him from behind while the other CS runs away.
Toilette will do a full clip though. Yeah. Nonetheless, I mean, he's starting to clip out against his T100. Well, he only gets 1 actually. A good repeat from the CS63 of Kono to make sure that Yolo doesn't lose all of his HP, and all of a sudden 5 on 3. Without a light, without really mobile tanks, this is going to be very, very hard for them.
Yeah, Cashback needs to pull some form of miracle out here. Of course, I don't mind. As long as my prediction goes well, we can see Barbarian and Orzek playing off against each other with the fancy turret, with the 2 Mivis. Barbarian shouldn't mess this up, I don't think, especially with Brain Break come across to come and help. But there's a CS joining in the fight from the back. Going to be a nasty surprise for Barbarian. Let's see if they can get this out before he drops too quick.
I mean, the BZ will give a shot and then Barbarian should finish, but the cost has been pretty high. A strike coming out as well. That's beautiful. T100 from the middle even.
Well played.
Getting a shot out and a squeezy left standing. Yeah, there was some north control from Cashback there, but they were not able to punish this 0-line push quite heavily enough. And then they tried to repush, but Mafia was quick to bring it back, push back those 2 tanks. Things could have been slightly different if more kills were generated, but being left with just heavies against the mobile lineup is always going to be very hard.
As you'll see in a second, was top performer on the damage there.
I mean, the Crown didn't do that bad, 3.1. I think they just weren't able to cover all angles well enough still with the Scaline presence, not cover Aka for enough that they were able to trade successfully out of it.
Be interested to see whether set up the STIV, whether it hides in the base or, you know, as we can see, heading towards the south. Probably going to try and keep some control over the middle area or popping people as they get into the cap. Let's see how that goes. CS is taking a little bit of a detour. Mostly, yep, similar pattern that we saw to the last game. Apart from, of course, trying to get those strikes early.
I mean, the good thing for Mafia is they already picked up the radio tower, so they got full info about the split from Cashback, so they know where all the tanks are. Cashback in return is generating double strike. However, I don't see Twilight taking that one. He was on it, but yeah, it's just unlikely that he's able to take it all together. He's going to back off from it now. They did generate the one in the middle, but now the question is, how does Cashback continue here? The S.03 will cover on towards Uzek's position, so he needs to be careful with the peaks he makes.
Yeah, so that was the STIV. Changed his mind towards the middle of that push. I think once they realized everybody was going north, it's going to stick there and try and hold through and cover the I-7. Keep an eye out for the 100 LT. Very cautious from both teams right now, waiting to see if one or the other creates a mistake. Cap pressure is on. It's going to be a while, though, before that starts becoming an error. And right now, it's just the sniping long-range game, teasing each other out.
The cap has been started for the side of Cashback, though, so there has to be a reset at some point. Brainbreaker is going to cap it out in 50 seconds. There is no strike available for Mafia. There's no mini strikes either when we look at Conrad and Kono. You can see that they don't have those yet. And Liberty will deny the strike to be taken on the south as well. So who will reset for the side of Mafia is a very, very good question.
Yeah, we can see Mafia 100 being true to his name of going YOLO to try and spot the cap. Maybe trying to get some height there to try and snipe across with the STIV covering him. But Cashback, I would say right now in a solid position. I-7s are staying out of the fight for now. Still no Decap coming in, but there is a freeze at least.
Yeah, Marcel has moved on to the cap. Rafuz getting spotted out. Brainbreaker just reversing, tapping him. Twilight in a little bit of trouble there, but he gets covered. E50M and AX now starting to take over the north. There's still a CS63 at A8. That will be a thorn in their side for a little while, but he needs to be very careful to not get repressured either. Barbarian and Brainbreaker, they realize that the cap is being blocked. It's actually just going to be Barbarian to push him out, and do keep attention to that. It pushes it down to 8 seconds. Kono puts his strike. Does he hit it, though? That's the big question. No, he actually missed it. Will mean that Marcel has to go back in because it's going to be all over in 3 seconds. There's a second mini strike, though, that will find the reset, and that was almost over. But the problems don't stop here for Mafia, as they're now down quite a lot of HP and slowly but surely are getting pressured back across the halfway point of this map. The 50M starting to take A-line as well, and it's looking rather grim for them because the cap has been resetted. Sure, CSs keep getting mini strikes, but Aka will pressure out Conrad, which will mean the north will be fully lost for Mafia.
Yeah, CS is Conrad, of course, trying to get himself a little bit of cover as the E50 starts to try and assert some dominance. Here we can see the Centurion Action X is probably going to get double teamed, distracted by the 100 LT. Oh, there's the cap. So there goes Little Blessing with his STIV. Getting a kill on Marcel, important. Does help massively. What do we think is going to happen now?
I mean, they're trying to push Squeezy here, but Squeezy will be covered by the STRV soon as well. The BZ peeking over. Aka finds Conrad, and these two tanks that are coming for the kill here, Kono and Uzek, they have bled quite a lot for that. Don't forget, Twilight is also in the area still. Barbarian moving in. It's 4,000 HP versus 12,000. This is a GG if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, here we can see the 113. So we've got Barbarian and Liberty taking their sweet time there. Yeah, it looks like Cashback have definitely got this in the bag. A little bit of dancing on with the A50 and the 100 LT. Murphy, see if Kono can help him out a little bit, but he doesn't like it. The BZ pretty comfortable with his hit points here. And yeah, GG for Cashback. That's now a 3-1 to Cashback. Cool artist strike on the Decap was going to help them, but you could definitely see the cap pressure at some point was starting to cause a little bit of stress. So here we can see now Cashback. Again, very nice spread of damage, if not a little bit concentrated on kills. Yeah, I would be interested to see if Mafia just rolls the dice here and just goes all in, or whether they are going to probably just, as you said, stick to their common play style, play it more safe, and don't take any high risks here. and see those lineups. I really have no idea how this will go, especially with Mafia a little bit more cautious, I think, going into this fight. So we can see BZ, CS's, Action X, the 430U, Foch B, one more light with the Rumpanzer. Squeezy going the EBR. You mentioned being the light tank player. 2 K91s. Okay, that'll be interesting to see how that works out with a bat chat and a mouse.
Yeah, Cashback is definitely not playing fast. Mafia in return might be, though. BZ75, CS63, AX, double for TDU, Foch B, RHM. That proves to be a quick game for them. But Cashback is playing La Rata. So they want to play kind of like W, generating mini strikes, because you have those K91s and the Leo that are able to generate little strikes to reset the cap with.
I was introduced to this strategy of a new and brand spanking, never seen before strategy. As you mentioned, the Larata, which is essentially just try and keep visibility and keep decapping over time, bleeding them with those strikes. Here we can see, yeah, looks like you were right. Mafia is going to try and press the issue, but not with too much conviction. Nope. Now they've decided they can take the risk. I think maybe they've realized, well, there's not too much to worry about there on the 1-2 line other than the K91. Mouse tank, though, maybe he's going to be able to bully the CS unless the Foch is waiting. Nice arty strike going on there to decap the arty cap. Managed to hit the Batchat and the Rumpanzer. I'm waiting to see how this mouse is going to play. I'm fascinated by the mouse. We can see here now that Mafia is pushing the K91 back from the cap. Yet they've disengaged from the cap and are going to try and get a little bit more control of this hill. I'm not sure if they're going... Yeah, they're going for the Leo 1 and the K91 while Cashback pushes through onto the Foch B, taking him out before he gets time to heal and disengage.
Yeah, but this Foch B is in a lot of trouble. He hasn't done too many shots. Barbarian needs to be careful as well. He's getting clipped out from the back lines. One more shot on Profuse should do it. Little can he get it. He does find it. A lot of damage has been bled, and they will lose Brainbreaker for that reset, of course. We cannot forget about that. But Brainbreaker trying to min-max his damage there against the light tank. Love to see it. It's good because that's the one tank that Cashback would love to kill in this battle. Killing that RHM would be the best thing they could ever achieve. But yeah, Brainbreaker was forced close to reset in this battle, simply because they weren't able to generate a strike on the east. You can see now Kono in a little bit of trouble in that CS63. There will be angles crafted against him slowly but surely, and he should fall for that over time. Info Tower gets used, however, by Mafia, and I think they realized that they gotta keep pushing in this battle.
Yeah, I think once they realized where the mouse is and how much control there is of the north, they're going for the risk on taking the mouse down before it's too late. EBR, I think he's just going to try and harass the Action X, or maybe just keep playing a little bit of visibility to get the spot. Yeah, there's the mouse dropping down. CS is going to get... No? Oh, yes, they did get hit by the arty strike. Marcel playing it very safe and cautiously with the EBR hanging around. And Mafia are probably going to try and assert a little bit of dominance, get some positional play on the map, pick up the arty strike relatively free, and push Cashback into the magical forest.
It's not that great for Cashback, though, losing that mouse in the middle of the map before they generated the kill on Kono. Now they're stuck in a position of having to rotate down HP, down a gun as well. They do still have the double light, but it's not a comfortable position to be in whatsoever. They somehow need to use Liberty and Squeezy to the maximum of their potential, and they're also playing against double strike at this point.
Yeah, we can see Mafia trying to just close down more and more of that map, except giving it to the other side of the cap, where we can see the roam and the Batchat coming around. Mafia slowly sweeping the forest for any rodents hiding in steep holes, looking for any chance to pick up maybe the EBR, the Leopard, or the K91, but they get away relatively for free. Maybe the BZs and the 430 a little bit cautious, hoping not to get bullied, pushing him blindly.
Can Barbarian find a reset against Marcel? He does actually find a reset with a mini strike as well, with a kill behind it. That's exactly what Cashback need. The light tank's important, but so is the Inspire tank. Mafia did not expect this brave play from that 700 HP Batshot to go down towards C1, pick him up altogether, and now the rat tactic is starting to pay its dividend. The Inspire tank is down. They would love to find YOLO, but all of a sudden it doesn't look that bad anymore.
Yeah, now Cashback making the right play, the right aggressive move at the right time. Mafia getting caught out now, though. Now they're in... I actually have no idea what they're planning to do. The Run Panzer, I think, is going to struggle now to spot without getting bullied with these long-range mediums, and even the EBR trying to maybe catch out the CS-63, unless Mafia turn around sometime soon.
They do find a shot against YOLO, and I told you, YOLO is the tank that they would love to find. The plane available from Liberty hits on YOLO. YOLO down towards 800, and now you start getting these problems. These tanks from Cashback are highly rotational. They move around the map really, really easily and really nicely as well. If they can continue picking up this light, surely but surely, they'll get back in it. 5 minutes is what separates us from a draw, and when we get to a draw scenario, it's kills first, damage second.
And we can see 430U slowly, full hit points, which is good job for this point in time. BZ getting picked up in the middle, trying to get that capture for visibility. But yeah, the 430U sneaking around on the side, relatively free. Cashback getting the south side of the map, and Mafia still sticking to the forest, not wanting to risk anything. The BZ licking his wounds, going on there, trying to not be too aggressive, letting Cashback maybe get a little bit further away before he tries to go for the spot. Yeah, Squeezy getting a little bit more aggressive, trying to see what he can find in there.
I mean, at the same time, though, slowly but surely, they can generate more and more, but we are back into our kind of original positions between the bases as well. It's just on Squeezy and Liberty to find a little bit of success. And you have the issue for Mafia that, you know, Yusek carries a lot of HP, and somehow you need to use that for 30U to get close.
Yeah, I am worried that he's going to get caught out trying to go in first. I mean, I know the BZ's nearby to help him out should he get into that situation. But as you mentioned, they're very agile tanks on Cashback, so it's going to be easy for them to just circle around and maybe pick off the 430 if the BZ's a little bit too far away. But Cashback looks like they're just waiting to receive a little bit of pressure right now. As we've seen in the last few games, letting Mafia make a couple of more mistakes, while Cashback just want to keep rotating around and looking for any sign of vulnerability before they start pouncing. I
mean, Conrad and Yusek now pressuring the 1-2 line, even going on towards the cap, may spark Squeezy into some aggressive play. And this radio tower being taken by Liberty is huge because he's going to reveal so much here. He sees the 3 tanks in the forest, he sees the 2 tanks on 1-2 line, and there will be an attempt to take this radio tower on the left, but that's not going to be happening from Yusek altogether. And a Cashback actually opting to push the double tank in the forest instead of running over 1-2 line.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because they don't even have the mini strikes to decap, and they hope to just try and at least pressure the forest to then worry about the cap later, leaving the Leo 1 to decap if necessary, but... yeah, I'm interested to see what happens here with Squeezy and YOLO. I know they're definitely going to want to try and take down YOLO relatively quickly. Be interested to see if that happens.
Squeezy now going to try and run away. He sees Kono come for him. He misses on YOLO. Kono running it down on towards that EBR 105. Missing on that one. No plane available from YOLO either. So Squeezy is going to make it out. And now those tanks from Mafia, they have abandoned the cap. They're pushing back across the open. But the Leopard 1 of... Barbarian actually falling. The Leopard 1 of I was going to say, is having a good time right now, but Orchek sneaking behind, finding success. A strike coming out. I'm not sure where that one was. Another strike being taken in the middle of the map. Orchek knows that Squeezy is in these bushes.
Yep, yeah, Squeezy is going to be very fortunate if he gets away with this. Here we can see the Leo 1 trying to bully the BZ, not having to use the anti-striking in from the CS. Here now we can see eyes and... Yep, never mind. Leo 1 is going to try and get away with Cashback now. Maybe trying to take a step back. That aggressive push into the forest was a slight mistake, losing that light tank. The Worm is going to stay alive as long as he possibly can, but that 430U on those hit points is looking pretty intimidating at this point in time.
Yeah, Yusek just hammering it down, little trying to take the strike, does get spotted out, and Yusek I don't think will be catching Liberty here altogether. A mini strike comes out, and that's not that mini at all, it's 250 because it's a level 3 one. And good shot there from Little on towards Yusek, and now they're trying to do something with the Leopard taking the information tower. 60 seconds left though. They need to find the kill here on towards one of the tanks of Mafia on either. Well, the only thing they can really do is get a kill on YOLO.
Well, this is a little close range. The K91 finding this CS a little bit too late. Yep, and there's the Worm picking up the kill. Cashback in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, unless Liberty and I said go absolutely crazy, there's very, very likely no way in for them. They need to find 2 kills, which is a tough ask, and I think they're losing on damage as well. So it will be Cashback. It will be Mafia confirming their second round, you could assume, at this point.
Yeah, you can definitely tell Mafia are just happy to sit back here, let Cashback push. They've got the advantage. Cashback are just going to try and push more and more, but maybe the Leo 1 picking up a strike. We can see some adventurous moves from YOLO. Liberty taking overview position. Let's see how this works out. They didn't get the arty strike, unfortunately. I missed that one, sorry. And yeah, this is definitely looking like, and was, Mafia pulling through.
It's good for my prediction.
Yeah, perfect. So far we're on course. So yeah, not that I'd want to wish any team to lose, but Cashback, don't let us down.
Now we need, of course, Cashback to win the next one. That's the dangerous part, right?
Yeah. So I've got the score screen up right now. That's why I keep looking off to the side, making sure I do this job properly. And here we can see with Cashback's scores. Fortunately, we get a little bit of a scene switch going on here, but it's fine. We're here. We're ready. Good to go. Here we can see with nice bit of damage on the run, be sticking alive that long into the game.
Yeah, Liberty did pretty good across the board from Cashback. Not the greatest of issues altogether. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they go for the rat again, but I'd be surprised. It doesn't look that way, though. Cashback, double E50, K91 still, Forge B, double 268, and an RHM Panzerwagen.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a statement waiting to be made. And here we can see Mafia with the 2 IS-7s, 2 CS-63s, K91, a Foch B, and another light with a Rampanzer on YOLO. So evenly on the lights, the Foch B's sitting around as well, but definitely a stacked set of arty strikes on there. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see which way they go on this one. Cashback looking like they want to just press the issue here.
I mean, the double 268 is an interesting one because, you know, this map is a lot of objects, so you have to kind of force it around 1-2 line. If you fight the middle with the 268, it's not that great. Don't see YOLO hitting too many with the plane, though. Profuse will go on that one. He should be getting reset altogether. They're aiming. Can they hit him, though? Is there going to be any damage on Profuse? No.
No, everything looks relatively safe overall. The planes, YOLO having a full stack of plane where Liberty has none, which is... Oh, no, there we go. Take it back. So the spotting is going to be available there. The arties are not charged just yet, other than the one on Profuse. And yeah, I'm waiting to see... Cashback seem to not do what I expected. I thought they might jump around, but it looks like they're now going to try and pressure the IS-7, where Mafia are going to go through the forest and maybe catch out the K91, with the Foch B just waiting to receive them.
Rainbreaker getting pushed by Marcel, by Uzek. There will be a follow-up by the rest of the team, sniping towards Uzek in that CS63. Rainbreaker playing a ring around the rosy, absolutely juking Marcel out. Twilight helping as well, but now it's 2-on-1 here, but still Uzek is dead to Rainbreaker. This push, this play, I think they expected Cashback to still go for the cap, but Cashback said no, we're gonna turn around and just cover, and this K91's position, it works wonderfully for Cashback. I mean, Brainbreaker absolutely tomfooleried the CS63 and the IS-7.
Yeah, the K91 playing his role perfectly of being the cheese in the mousetrap. The Foch B receiving on one side, the 2 268s receiving on the other, and happily taking out the IS-7. Brainbreaker, though, now on much lower hit points from the beginning part of that, getting some help from the E50M and the Panzer, but staying alive just long enough. And now Mafia are looking at this and expecting, yeah, we can take this Foch B, it's fine. Cashback maybe also ready to counter push them once they go on their reload with the Kono on the Foch B. Let's see.
I mean, now Cashback starting to take all the tanks into 68, even pushing from the 5 lane. You can see them. Twilight still alive. His second life coming in. The strike will put him down. That's Profuse, but it's 3,000 lead for Cashback. The gun still up one little. Now moving in. There's still a pretty healthy HP IS-7 in the middle as well, which is Conrad, who's a bit far away here as the rest of the team moving in. Aka does throw himself to the wolves and will die for it as well. I think he underestimated the amount of damage that the Mafia lineup could still do in this short amount of time, but now they're continuing on with those 268s, with the DPM boost as well. They tapped the light even before 1,000 earlier, and Squeezy will find the kill, I think, or Little, one of the two, doesn't matter, both have ability, that's perfect, and you can see that 1-2 tap, 1 and 2 the CS, reloads instantly, the next goes into the light, and so go the dreams of Mafia to continue, but the predictions are amazing. 4-2 for Cashback.
Happy I haven't lost my prediction touch. Totally didn't copy you though, Daki, so well played by Cashback there. Very dominant display, very decisive in their actions throughout that. There was no doubt they... it was almost as if they were clairvoyant in expecting Mafia's actions and playstyle there. Received everything perfectly, pushed at the right time, even the 268, ignoring the IS-7, which probably would have been a temptation, going straight to the forest and going, thank you very much, we'll take all your hit points.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the biggest game changer there was, of course, the K91 trade, right? When they tried to push the K91, and the K91 actually traded it out beautifully with a Brainbreaker taking top damage as well. Of course, he got support from behind, or he wouldn't have been able to do that, but still, it was pretty good for the side of Cashback that Mafia decided to do that.
Yeah, and there's poor Akam, as you mentioned, a little bit bold, too bold, getting caught out with a surprising amount of damage, it looked like, but